Hello everyone, thank you for attending this update webinar on Making Tax Digital, or MTD for short. Our names are Joe Renshaw and Claire M. Walker, and we'll be your presenters today. We are also joined by our colleague Bob Crystal, who is an account manager for ALB. By way of introduction, we both work for the pre-sales team in the legal sector, Claire as a pre-sales manager and myself as a pre-sales consultant. We've been asked to provide you with an update on MTD and details of the changes we are planning to make to the ALB system to allow it to integrate with the business tax portal. During and at the end of the webinar, there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions using the On24 chat facility. There are also a number of MTD documents which you can download during the webinar, which you may find useful. At the end of the webinar, we will collate and respond to all questions received through a separate communication. The launch of the new MTD rules is quickly approaching, so businesses need to prepare and put plans in place to ensure that they comply with the new requirements when they come into force. Please note that this is continuation of customer updates on the new business tax portal solution. This webinar will rerun in December for any colleagues and other customers who are unable to attend the session.
Hello everyone, and thank you for attending this update webinar on Making Tax Digital, MTD for short. My name is Simon Haynes and I will be your presenter for today. By way of introduction, I'm a financial product specialist who supports the OpenAccounts financial management suite, and I've been asked to provide you with an update today on MTD and details of changes we're planning to make to OpenAccounts to allow it to integrate with the business tax portal. During and at the end of the webinar, there will be an opportunity for you to ask questions using the On24 chat facility. There are also a number of MTD documents that you can download during the webinar, which you may find useful. At the end of the webinar, we will collate and respond to all questions received through a separate communication. The launch of the new MTD rules is quickly approaching, so businesses do need to prepare and put plans in place to ensure that they can comply with the new requirements when they come into force. Please note that this is a continuation of customer updates on the new business tax portal solution provided by Advanced. This webinar will be rerun in December for any colleagues and other customers who are unable to attend this session. So today we will not be going into detail of the HMRC VAT Notice 700/22. Instead, we'll be concentrating on the impact of the Making Tax Digital Notice and how Advance is working to make MTD easier for our customers, whilst also looking or taking a closer look at the planned changes to OpenAccounts itself. If you would like to see the finer details of the HMRC VAT Notice, a link will be provided within the On24 page. So why is it so important that we gain an understanding of the Making Tax Digital legislation? Well, recently we surveyed 1,000 business professionals as part of our annual trend survey, and 43% of our respondents revealed that they don't know if they will be ready for MTD by the time it comes into force in April 2019. So, my aim by the end of this webinar is to ensure that Making Tax Digital is simplified and easier to understand, and that you have a clear view of what you need to do to ensure compliance. We will also talk through how Advance can help you with your plans. So what does MTD mean for you? Well, all VAT registered businesses with a taxable turnover of the current VAT threshold of 85,000 will be mandated to use the MTD system from April 2019. Now, having said this, it should be noted that recent HMRC announcements confirm that a small number of businesses, referred to as deferred customers, which represent only 3.5% of VAT registered businesses, won't need to comply until October 2019. These include, for example, trusts, not-for-profit organisations, public sector entities that may require to provide additional information on their VAT return. The government has also confirmed that they will not widen the scope of MTD beyond VAT before the system has been shown to work well, and not before April 2020 at the earliest. So under the new rules, businesses are required to digitise records and use compatible software to send their VAT return to the HMRC. So from April this year, the HMRC has been working closely with software suppliers, such as ourselves, to pilot these new systems and software with a select number of pilot customers. So as I've mentioned, in April 2019, it is mandatory, with exception of the deferred customers, to electronically file your VAT return using a new API. So, an important thing to take away from today's webinar is that from April 2019, businesses will no longer be able to enter their VAT figures directly into the HMRC portal, nor will they be allowed to use the old API, which supports direct filing today. Instead, all businesses will be legally obliged to submit their VAT summary data, which we commonly refer to as the 9 boxes, digitally via the new HMRC API. So, moving into the impact these new requirements have on your business, well, there are two real key aspects to consider with the new notice. The first one really is digital record keeping. So, the HMRC require the VAT returns are compiled using digital records, which are specified in the notice. This covers dates of supply, of sale and purchases, tax point dates, and VAT values and rates. It also covers the digital maintenance of the designated data. So, for example, company name, principal business address, VAT registration number, and the VAT scheme that the VAT returns are prepared in accordance with. The notice also specifies that digital records must be used to compile the VAT summary return data. So, one of the most important aspects of the notice is that where multiple systems, for example, are used to record, let's say, the sales and purchases, the transfer of data between those systems must be made using digital links. So the definition of what constitutes a digital link are clearly outlined in the notice, but do not include manual transpositions of data, so cut and paste. The notice also confirms that the adjustments required to a VAT summary data do not have to be maintained digitally, nor is there a requirement to transfer the summary adjustment figures into the return digitally. Secondly, there is a change to the process required for the filing of the return. So, as previously we've mentioned, the 9-box VAT data must be transmitted using a new API, and where a separate software application is used to support that transmission, then that summary VAT data must be transferred into that application digitally. So, together, the maintenance of the digital records and the actual transmission of the summary VAT data must be processed within what is referred to as a functional compatible software. So, our approach to making tax digital then. So, we've covered some of the most important aspects of the MTD notice. So, let's now outline how Advance intends to help its customers meet these requirements. So, the maintenance of the digital records is largely already taken care of within your OpenAccounts that you're currently using today. So, our focus has been on ensuring that our customers can comply with the filing of the periodic VAT return within a new software solution that we're currently developing. So the new solution will be known as the Business Tax Portal and will be available in 2 editions, which provide different capabilities. We have the base edition, which will concentrate on providing the minimum functionality required to meet the new requirements, and then the full edition will provide all of the facilities available within the base edition, plus a number of complementary capabilities which are outlined in this slide. So the base edition will accept summary 9-box VAT totals uploaded from a CSV file that has been prepared using data extracts from OpenAccounts. It will then submit the summary 9-box information through the new HMRC API. A full audit trail of all previous submissions will be maintained within the software. The full edition will accept transaction level data from OpenAccounts, which will then produce the 9-box VAT totals. This will be transferred either through an Excel-based upload or a direct push from OpenAccounts via an API. It will support the review and the corrections of transaction level data by users. It will also allow adjustments to be made to the imported data from, example, partially exempt VAT adjustments, all of which can be reviewed and approved by nominated users. Any adjustments and corrections made within the full edition can be automatically journaled back to OpenAccounts to keep the accounting records in line with the submission. There will also be the facility to enter comments and to upload files to support any corrections or adjustments that are processed within the Business Tax Portal. So the full edition also offers approvals and reconciliation facilities to ensure that the data is accurate before the return is submitted to the HMRC through the new API. So to summarise then, the base edition will provide a digital upload of summary VAT data and digitally transmit that data through the new API, both of which are requirements under the new VAT notice, whilst keeping a record of all submissions and return responses. This will allow our customers to comply with the new requirements with little or no disruption. The full edition will also deliver these facilities whilst also offering a number of beneficial added value capabilities, which are in line with the spirit of the notice, which seeks to reduce the incidences of errors by allowing adjustments to be made digitally with automatic updates back to OpenAccounts and the availability of peer review through inbuilt approval process. So let's now take a look at how the new business tax portal will be delivered to customers. As previously mentioned, the business tax portal will accept information from OpenAccounts through digital links. Now that can either be through a spreadsheet import or a direct push of data using an API import. The solution will be available to our customers as a cloud-based software as a service solution running on the Amazon Web Services platform, rather than an on-premise install. VAT returns will be then transmitted using the new HMRC API. So the base edition of the Business Tax Portal is now ready available, with the full edition to be released in March. So what we've got here is a short video prepared by one of my colleagues that's going to take you through some of the key screens and capabilities of the Business Tax Portal.
Hello everyone, and welcome to the short overview video of the Business Tax Portal. This video will aim to show you the full end-to-end process from registering your company within the base edition of the Business Tax Portal to the successful submission of your 9-box VAT return. The first screen we can see here is the registration screen. You will be required to register an email address and set up a password. Once you have done so, a link will be sent to your email, which will take you to the logon page. One or more users will have access to the system, subject to the maximum permitted number of licensed users. Users will be maintained within the Business Tax Portal, and we will look to provide single sign-on to those customers who use single sign-on today with their advanced applications. A useful password reminder/reset facility will also be provided should users forget their passwords. When you log on to the portal for the first time, you will be required to register your account details with the HMRC so that the Business Tax Portal can connect and file returns through the new API. As you can see, you will be automatically redirected to the HMRC's verification engine to complete the one-time registration, which will then enable you to submit your returns. Once you've successfully validated your account details, then you will need to complete Step 2, which requires you to provide details of the VAT registrations that the Business Tax Portal will file VAT returns against. The system will accommodate more imports from multiple systems and consolidate them into a single registration. Within this screen, we can see what details need to be provided, such as company name, address, and the VAT scheme you use. These details must be recorded digitally under the new Making Tax Digital notice and are referred to as designatory data by the HMRC. It is also possible to set up multiple companies under one VAT registration number, as demonstrated here. Once these 2 steps have been completed, you're nearly ready to start using the Business Tax Portal. Firstly, though, you need to set up details of any other users who require access to the portal. To do this, you can click the Set Up New Users button, which will show you a list of current users, whilst allowing you to add, delete, or edit existing users. Alternatively, you can click the Users tab, which lies on the left-hand side of this main homepage. To set up a new user, you need to supply their name, email address, and password, which they'll use to log on to the Business Tax Portal. You'll also need to define what roles and responsibilities they have. For the base edition, users will either be standard users or administrators. The facility to disable individual users' IDs rather than delete them is also provided. This might be useful, for example, where a member of staff is on temporary leave or on secondment to another department. Once you've finished setting up the new users, you're transferred back to the user menu where you can see a list of the users with their different permissions. We are now ready to import the summary 9-box VAT totals for each of the companies that have been identified previously. The import menu allows you to download a CSV template which can then be populated with the 9-box VAT totals and uploaded into the system. For the purposes of this demonstration, however, I have pre-populated a spreadsheet with the data, and this is the file that I'm going to import. In addition, some FMS systems will automatically push data into the system using an API that we have designed to import summary VAT data. Once imported, the system will then validate the imported data and maintain a summary of all historic imports, CSV and FMS push data, as we can see on this screen. Any errors detected within the import files are clearly shown. A filter is then provided to allow the user to focus on any imported files with errors. You can then click on the error count to investigate the errors. Users would then be required to correct the errors at the source and re-upload the data. Data files with errors can easily be deleted if required. So now that we have set up tax registrations, companies and users, and imported our 9-box VAT data, we are ready to make our submission through the new HMRC API. To do this, we visit the home page, where we can see a list of the recent submissions that we have made or submissions that are waiting to be submitted. To activate a submission, we simply click on the Ready to Submit return, and we're transferred to a page which confirms the aggregated 9-box VAT totals we're about to submit. If we are happy with the information that is presented here, then we simply click on the Submit Return button. Once entered, we are transferred back to the home page where we can monitor the progress of the submission in real time. Once a return has been successfully submitted, the confirmation number will be shown alongside the return that you have submitted in the top right corner. This concludes the short video overview of the base edition of the Business Tax Portal. Thank you for watching.
For having seen the release version of the base edition of the Business Tax Portal, let's now take a look at the planned capabilities of the full edition, which is due for release at the end of March. To do this, we'll be using special design software, which allows our developers to prototype the planned user interface to a solution early in its design. The release version of the full edition of the Business Tax Portal may therefore vary slightly from what you see today. Within the full edition of the Business Tax Portal, you will be expected to define the format of the account key within the FMS to allow the Business Tax Portal to pass journals automatically back to the FMS in respect of any adjustments or corrections processed within the Business Tax Portal. Note though that this capability is only relevant to the full edition of the Business Tax Portal. So let's now take a look at some of the complementary facilities that are provided in the full edition. If we look at the menu in the left-hand panel on the home page, we can see that many of the options are those which we've already taken a look at in the base edition. Let's quickly take a look at what's different in the configuration menu. Setup of tax registrations is identical to that in the base edition, but there are 3 new set of options in the full edition. Button number 2 is the establishment of tax codes. These will correlate to the tax codes that you use today within the FMS and need to be linked to the various companies that you have defined within the Business Tax Portal. When we import transaction data, the system will automatically check that the tax codes on sales and purchase transactions can be used by the company we are importing data into. If not, then errors will be highlighted to the user at the time of import. The option to add new tax codes and to link them to companies can be performed using the Add button. Button number 3 relates to the definition of layouts, which is essentially the schema for the tax authority's expected data file. This will already have been defined and will correlate to the UK's 9-box VAT return, although its presence here gives us potential to use the Business Tax Portal to file returns in other countries or for future UK taxes that may fall under the Making Tax Digital umbrella. The final button in the lineup is for the definition of the journal transaction formats that will vary depending upon the FMS that the Business Tax Portal will pass journal transactions back to. These formats will be predefined by ourselves, ready to be used when the system is shipped. The User Roles line shows a count of the users by role and shows any unused user licenses. In this example, the maximum number of permitted users is 9, which have all been utilized and of which 2 are administration users. The final option is Workflow, which controls whether any adjustments processed within the Business Tax Portal require review and approval. Processing of adjustments and their approval are both features which are only available within the full edition. If we select the Adjustments menu, we can see that there are 2 different types of adjustments that can be processed. Regular recurring adjustments that are processed against each periodic return, such as fuel charge and partially exempt VAT adjustments, and ad hoc adjustments to cover corrections where, for example, an invoice has been recorded with the wrong VAT code. If we click on one of the adjustment categories, we can see the detail of the adjustments and whether a journal is required to be posted back to the FMS in respect of that adjustment. The ability to record supporting narratives and to attach electronic files to support the adjustments is also provided. For example, the detailed calculations supporting a fuel charge adjustment. At the bottom of the adjustment menu, we can see a full audit trail of any adjustments, which confirms who entered the adjustment and whether the GL was updated in respect of that adjustment. Details of the resultant journals arising from adjustments can be inquired upon within the Journals menu. The Reconciliation menu is again another exclusive feature of the full edition. When activated, we can drill down to see the imported data values alongside the adjustment values to provide the final submission values. If we click on any of the 9 box totals, then we see a pop-up that provides the user with the transactional details that support the selected box total. Again, the ability to enter free format notes and to attach supporting electronic files as evidence of any adjustments made is provided. The audit menu is identical to that provided in the base edition, and clicking on the Home button takes us to a list of recently submitted returns and any pending fully approved submissions that are ready to be submitted. The procedure for submitting the returns is the same as that demonstrated previously within the base edition.
So now let's move on to how OpenAccounts will be changing to meet the specific requirements of the Making Tax Digital initiative and how it will interact with the Advanced Business Tax Portal. So just to reiterate, and as we've covered already, this is the actual landscape of the Business Tax Portal solution and how it will be delivered to our customers. So let's take some time now and focus on the actual OpenAccounts and how things will be changing. Let's firstly take a few moments to understand what current processes and procedures are followed by an OpenAccounts user in their quest to actually prepare a VAT return. As you will no doubt be aware, preparing the VAT return is typically a very manual process. It's heavily reliant on detailed working papers, mostly in Excel, as the majority of OpenAccounts customers have complex VAT calculations and adjustments. It also involves the extractive analysis of data using reporting tools such as the Executive Desktop Reporter, along with the standard reports, which include tax return, which is the actual report that generates the 9 boxes within OpenAccounts, along with the tax analysis reports and the partial exempt VAT reports. There is no ability to use the current HMRC gateway directly from or within OpenAccounts, so the figures have to be entered manually online or uploaded as a separate process. So what changes have we made within OpenAccounts to assist in making tax digital? Within the tax rate maintenance form, for each individual tax rate, there is a new flag relevant for UK VAT, which would indicate if the tax rate is to be included on the return or not. Within the company parameters, a tax reporting company flag has been added to indicate if the company you are in is the reporting company, and if not, which company does the current one actually consolidate into. Within the company file maintenance, there is now validation on the tax registration number. The registration number cannot be changed for tax reporting companies, i.e. the consolidating company, unless the companies are delinked first. Within the system parameters, there's three new license types. There's the base. Now that allows you to do the 9-box submission summary through CSV or API integration. There's the full. Now that allows you to do the submission of 9-box or transaction level through the CSV or API integration. Or then there's other. Now that allows you to do the submission of the 9-box summary with CSV only. Finally, when you actually run the VAT return from within OpenAccounts, based on your system parameter settings, the output will either generate the 9-box summary or transaction level data, either through the CSV or API integration. The return itself will output the UK and non-UK VAT codes shown separately now in separate sections on the report. There is also a new report format, which is Format C, that is there for consolidated companies. So all of these changes are now readily available within OpenAccounts version 8, patch 4 and above. So before I move on, can I just welcome Guy Ayland, who is one of the commercial account directors at Advanced. He will also be available to answer questions at the end of this presentation with myself. Now let's have a look through the high-level commercial model associated with the Business Tax Portal. So the Business Tax Portal is going to be provided as a software as a service annual subscription model. The subscription charge covers the Business Tax Portal hosting, and it covers up to 4 submissions per annum as standard per organisation. So where there is a requirement for further submissions, these can be made available at an additional cost, so please speak to your account managers. The subscription charge also covers the OpenAccounts integration engine. So the technical services are not required for implementation because the setup is all wizard driven, but there is an online training bite which is going to be compulsory. As long as you complete the training bite, your existing support agreement covers any support for the Business Tax Portal. So in terms of the OpenAccounts version, the Business Tax Portal integration is provided against OpenAccounts version 8, patch 4 and above. And in regards to the timelines, the OpenAccounts integration with the Business Tax Portal is planned for release in February 2019. So for further information about any of the points I've covered on this slide, please speak to your account managers. So now we're approaching the end of this short webinar, so before we conclude, let's just take a quick look at some of the reasons why we believe you should consider Advance to help deliver an approved working solution to the new mandated Making Tax Digital requirements. We are a trusted supplier of your OpenAccount solution with over 3,000 financial customers. We've developed our solution in conjunction with the HMRC during the pilot phase. We are building a tight integration with OpenAccounts, so offering minimal disruption with regards to installation and configuration. The UX and UI has been carefully designed to provide simplicity and ease of use to the end users. We guarantee to continue supporting and developing the Business Tax Portal alongside OpenAccounts. So customers will be able to upgrade easily as we introduce new capabilities of the BTP. So things like, example, the transmission of supplementary or voluntary updates, which HMRC have said will be introduced at a later stage. We have a deep knowledge and understanding of the requirements, which have been demonstrated hopefully today through the proof of concept model that we saw in the video earlier on. The solution has been carefully designed with input from accounting professionals, but also with our direct engagement with our customers, where we visited and discussed our plans with a number of selected customers within our customer base. So in summary, we are able to offer a customer solution which is fully supported alongside your OpenAccounts, which only Advanced can offer. So let's take a quick look at what we've covered during this webinar. So Making Tax Digital is fast approaching, with new rules become effective for most customers in April 2019. We have worked alongside the HMRC to produce a solution which aids compliance with Making Tax Digital. Our Business Tax Portal is available in 2 editions, base and full, available in December 2018 and February 2019. We've also shared details of how we will integrate with OpenAccounts. It's also worth noting that the Business Tax Portal has been designed to integrate with any FMS solution, so tax data from other systems can also be merged with OpenAccounts data to provide a consolidated tax return. Please feel free to use the On24 question and answer facility, or alternatively contact your account manager if you have any specific questions. So making tax digital isn't going to go away, so look out for more information from Advanced in your inbox soon. So just before we conclude, I thought I'd better mention that the Advanced World 2019 is fast approaching. It's on Monday the 18th of March at the ICC. If you have not registered already, you can do this by visiting oneadvance.com/world. Again, thank you for